Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning and welcome to RPtv. Today is Wednesday, October 30th, 2019. The weather report for the week doesn't look too good. However, there is a glimmer of hope for all the you trick-or-treaters. Rihanna has a report.
Tomorrow is the day for costume-clad trick-or-treaters to go out and about in search of candy. Unfortunately, the weather may not be the most agreeable. A large storm front from the Great Lakes and the Ohio River Valley is making its way toward New Jersey. Mark Miller from the WeatherWorks Forecasting Company said we may be expecting consistent rain showers in several areas of the state. Fortunately for trick-or-treaters, forecasters said there will be potentially a window of time in the late afternoon and early evening when rain is not expected to fall. Mark Miller advises people who will be out and about to be prepared and bring umbrellas and raincoats. After midnight on Halloween, rain is expected to get heavier and winds stronger as temperatures drop to the low 50s until Friday morning. Those are some things to consider in planning your trick-or-treat outing.
Yesterday marked the 7th anniversary of Superstorm Sandy, and unfortunately, many people are still struggling with the hardships. Let's go to Callie for the details.
Governor Phil Murphy said Tuesday that while New Jersey has made great progress helping Hurricane Sandy victims return to their homes, officials are still working to get hundreds of families back 7 years after the storm. By the end of this month, there are still 757 homeowners who received state grants to rebuild their houses that have yet to receive certificates of occupancy, the state said. Murphy said that's down from 1,031 a year ago. And in all of the 7,458 homeowners who received grants, 90% have completed construction, said Lisa Ryan, a spokeswoman for the State Department of Community Affairs. While that's great progress, it's not at zero yet, Murphy said during a news conference in Hoboken. We will do everything we can to get it there. Murphy said there are a variety of reasons for why people are still displaced, most notably financial struggle. Obviously, our goal is to get that number to zero, Murphy added. But that takes a lot of different parties doing their share and their part, including the individual homeowners. We can control a significant amount of the factors that go into that number, but we can't control all of it, he continued. But we are committed as best and as fast as we can to get that number to zero or as close to zero as possible. The state announced in April that the federal government approved an additional $55 million in federal funds for New Jersey residents trying to get back into their homes, and that money is now being dispersed. The state also said 239 displaced homeowners in the state's program are receiving rental assistance so they don't get socked with having to foot both a mortgage and rent.
Now for today's announcements. Debate Club today. New members are welcome. Stop in to see what controversial topic we'll be discussing. 2:45 p.m. in room 7. Anime Club meeting October 31st in room 105. There's going to be a Halloween party. Tabletop Games Club will meet in the library after school on Wednesdays. Come check out a wide variety of board and card games. See Mrs. Amoroso or Miss Lemke for the details. Okay. Art Club and National Art Honor Society will be meeting Fridays after school in room 102 during the school year. We are working on projects and sometimes exploring new media. Join us. 5. Okay. Seniors are per. Oh, is that it? Yeah. Senior super. Superlators. Check your email. You recently sent an email for your superlative voting. All votes need to be completed and submitted by Wednesday, 30th at 2 p.m. If you have any questions, see Mr. Fucci. Freshman class of 2023. All class t-shirts are for sale. Order forms available on the bulletin board. See Ms. Sarango or Ms. Salamanca with any questions. All forms are due today. And then I do this part. Okay. Ooh, want to see Miss Costa wear a Daffy Duck costume or Mr. Rock dress up as Supergirl? Crisis Center is holding a Halloween fundraiser. Costumes for a cause. During lunch, you put your loose change or any amount of money you want to vote for each teacher to wear a costume. Then, you can also vote for which costume you want that teacher to wear. The teacher with the most money will have to wear that costume on Halloween. Look for Costumes for a Cause coffee table. Whoa. Costumes for a Cause table during lunch to donate and cast your vote. Pumpkin decorating contest. I am so sorry. Oh my god. I'm doing so bad. Pumpkin decorating contest. Thank you for all the clubs and classes who are entered in the 4th annual pumpkin decorating contest. The last pumpkin has gone. Judging will open on first lunch on today, October 30th, and will conclude by 2 p.m. on 31st. The winner will be announced at the end of the day on Halloween. Don't forget to vote for your favorite pumpkin by accessing the ballot through the link by Miss Lemke on Wednesday during first lunch. The winner will receive a Dunkin' Donuts prize. No, what? Last announcement. Okay, I got you. Last announcement. The Halloween costume contest. This is tomorrow. The categories are best group costume, the scariest costume, the funniest costume, and the most creative costume. Judging will take place during all lunches. Please keep costumes school appropriate. The Panthers continue to dominate on the field and on court. So let's check in with Rihanna for the high school sports report.
Congratulations to the boys soccer varsity team on winning a 6-2 game against Piscataway Tech yesterday. David Ortiz netted 2 goals, and Nico Ibanez, Joseph Agudelo, Sebastian Barajas, and Kendrick Lopez also added a goal to bring the team to a 6-2 victory over Piscataway Tech.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching RPtv. Have a great day and stay tuned for CNN 10.
From the CNN Center to viewers around the world, this is CNN 10, and I'm Carl Azus. It's great to have you watching this Wednesday. It's been a year and a day since a passenger jet crashed shortly after takeoff in the island nation of Indonesia. The flight was operated by Lion Air, a low-cost airline, and the plane was built by Boeing, an American company. That's part of the reason why Boeing's CEO, Dennis Muilenburg, appeared before the U.S. Congress on Tuesday on the anniversary of the Lion Air crash. And it wasn't the only one linked to Boeing's 737 MAX plane. In March of this year, an Ethiopian Airlines flight crashed shortly after takeoff in Ethiopia. It was the same model aircraft.
We can and must do better. We've been challenged and changed by these accidents. We've made mistakes, and we got some things wrong. We're improving, and we're learning, and we're continuing to learn.
Both crashes killed everyone on board, 346 people in all. And both crashes have been linked to a flawed computer system that repeatedly pushed the plane's noses down despite the pilot's efforts to correct it. After the Lion Air crash last year, some pilots said they didn't know the faulty computer system existed on the plane. And Boeing had apparently gotten permission from U.S. regulators to remove information about the system from the 737 MAX manual. That led some lawmakers to question the relationship between Boeing and the Federal Aviation Administration, which oversees air transportation in the United States. The 737 MAX has been grounded around the world. It's not allowed to fly. Boeing says it's taken steps to fix the model, that it hopes it'll be allowed to fly again before the end of the year, and that the crashes have taken a toll on its business.
Investigators say they identified 9 areas of flaws and mistakes that combined contributed to the disaster of Lion Air Flight 610, which resulted in the deaths of 189 people off the coast of Indonesia. And that if any one of these factors had not taken place, that perhaps this disaster could have been averted. The blame, they say, lies with everything from the manufacturer of the 737 MAX 8 plane, that is Boeing, with a design flaw and certification flaws in an autopilot feature, with the Florida-based manufacturer of one of the sensors on the plane that was malfunctioning, and then with the low-budget Indonesian airline itself, the crew on board the final flight, that they failed to communicate among each other about the malfunctions, and in the final 11 minutes of the plane as it flew, when the captain was wrestling with this autopilot feature that was sending the plane into a dive, and he was forced to manually override it dozens of times, when he handed off control of the plane to his first officer, that officer was not properly informed and quickly lost control of the aircraft, and it went into its final fatal dive. The head of the investigation spoke to CNN and described this as a new kind of air disaster. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration has responded to the investigation saying, quote, "We welcome the recommendations from this report and will carefully consider these and all other recommendations as we continue our review of the proposed changes to the Boeing 737 MAX." Now, this new classification of Boeing aircraft has been completely grounded because 5 months after the Lion Air disaster, an Ethiopian Airlines flight crashed as well, involving a Boeing 737 MAX and also this same flawed autopilot feature. Boeing has come out with a statement saying that it has corrected the autopilot feature, that it has created new fail-safes to prevent it from going automatically into effect if it gets faulty information relayed to the airplane's computer, and that it has improved training manuals to ensure that pilots will know what to do in the future if this autopilot feature kicks in. Boeing says it has faced losses of up to $5 billion in relation to these two air disasters, and it will be paying compensation of some $100 million to the families of the many victims. Ivan Watson, CNN, Hong Kong.
10-second trivia. What do golden eagles, polar bears, great white sharks, and killer whales have in common? Are they all mammals, endangered species, apex predators, or omnivores? All of these animals are apex predators, meaning they're at the top of the food chain. And though great whites are considered a vulnerable but not endangered species, they appear to be vanishing from the area around a popular surfing beach in South Africa. And in this case, that's not a good thing. There's a lot of mystery surrounding great whites. They're the world's largest predatory fish, but scientists don't know how many of them exist. They're known to migrate long distances, but scientists don't know exactly where they go. Researchers are concerned, though, by what they're not seeing near Cape Town.
We're going to throw the cage off the back of the boat.
We've come to dive with an apex predator.
Seal Island is probably the world's most famous location for seeing great white sharks.
On front! Oh, there he is! There he is!
And we see plenty of sharks.
It was incredible. It came right up to us and checked us out.
Oh, right there, right there, right there.
But no great whites. These sharks are scavengers, not the iconic hunter that made this bay famous. After millions of years, in 2019, the great whites of Cape Town have vanished.
For me, the loss of the great white sharks is losing part of my soul. You know, this is an animal that it shaped my life. It's given me some of the greatest highs of my life.
Chris Fellows, the photographer who put these sharks on the map, is forcing himself to speak in the past tense.
The first time you saw this, what was it like?
It was unbelievable. I mean, everybody's fascinated by great white sharks, but flying great white sharks, to see this incredible super predator taking to the air, showing off its athletic prowess, it was fantastic.
This past season they haven't seen a single shark.
On the cliffs above, shark spotters used to take these sightings for granted. This year, they've recorded 0 great whites, not a single one.
What if they don't come back?
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait.
Fishermen like Solomon say there are more seals now too, competing for their catch. It seems the ecosystem is already feeling the effects.
The impact of losing an apex predator for the marine environment is going to be huge.
Biologist Sarah Andriotti says the 0 sightings is alarming, but not surprising. She predicted the collapse years ago. In 2012, by studying genetics, she found that the population was smaller and more vulnerable than anyone imagined.
What were your reaction to the population of great whites in South Africa?
Concern, mostly, but also shock. We were expecting to find 1,000 or more individuals around here.
Overfishing, shark poaching, and the wheat gene pool have all contributed.
People don't like to listen to sad story, and it is difficult to realize that humans could have such an impact on such a prehistorical, iconic predators.
Unless we really step up our efforts to conserve what we have left, South Africa's once bountiful shores are becoming more and more empty by the day.
If there's any hope for the great whites to return, he says the focus should now be on what needs to be done, not about what once was. David Mackenzie, CNN, False Bay, South Africa.
A friend of mine from college had this theory that the world was turning to lint, starting with what's in our dryers. I'm not saying this is proof, but it was collected from dryers across the country to form a 690-pound ball of lint. Why? Great question. A dryer repair company wanted to set a new world record and to raise awareness about the importance of cleaning lint from our dryers, because it's flammable, as setting it on fire clearly showed. You could say it sparked up like flint, a fire from a fiber, a flashing glint of lint. What started as threads unraveled into shreds, what started as a yarn was quick to burn. Does it seem off-kilter to take a dryer filter and then clean it just to gleam it for a demonstration? It's a strange conflagration that lights conversation and concludes today's displays on CNN 10. I'm Carl Azus.